What is up, y'all? This is Brian back again with Crush Cards, and as you guys know, this week was Christmas. Hope you guys all had a great holiday. But on Christmas, Konami decided to give us a little present, and it is this card right here. This card is direct support for Lair of Darkness, and if any of you guys know, Lair of Darkness is probably in my top 3 decks. It's the deck that got me back into playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I just have so much love and respect for this deck. So with it, I figured I would bring you guys my updated Lair of Darkness deck profile. So your standard generic lineup, still play 2 Diablos. This is probably the best card in the entire deck. It's 3000 beater, it's untargetable, tributes a dark monster, and then places a card from your opponent's hand on either the top or the bottom of their deck, and it can special summon itself from either your hand or your graveyard just by you tributing a dark monster that you control. 3 Arima. This is probably one of the strongest cards in your entire deck. You can discard this card and then add Lair of Darkness from your deck to your hand. So it's basically like playing 6 copies of your field spell. It can tribute a dark monster to draw 1 card, or if you tributed a dark monster that was not itself, you could basically add Diablos directly from your deck to your hand also. We play the 1 Tour Guide of the Underworld. This card just basically gets you access to Lilith, Lady of Lament. You play this card at 3 because it tributes a dark monster and then reveals 3 normal traps in your deck, and then your opponent randomly selects one and sets it to your field. It's a quick effect, so you can activate it on either player's turn, and it tributes for cost. We run the 1 Black Wing Steam the Cloak because this card tributes from the graveyard to special summon itself, and whenever it leaves the field it gets a token, so it just kind of recycles itself. We play the 1 Eradicator just for battle tricks. So during the battle phase, this card special summons itself and then you gain 1000 life points, and you can also tribute this card, and any monster you control gains 1000 attack points. We play double Artifact Scythe. I think this card is going to be incredible going into this new Master Rule revision, so kind of built this deck to stop a lot of extra deck reliant decks. And then to round out the monsters, just triple Ash Blossom. Play 3 Lair of Darkness and 1 Terraforming. So Lair of Darkness, for anyone who doesn't know, makes every card on the field dark, which is really beneficial to you and your deck because all of your cards tribute dark monsters for cost, and this allows you to tribute your opponent's monsters as well to activate your own effects. And then the turn player who had monsters tributed gets tokens equal to the number of monsters that were tributed that turn. And since everything on the field is dark, we have to play triple Super Poly. I mean, come on, this is crazy. It just clears boards. Going first, going second, this card is just such a blowout, so must of at 3. For draw power, I know it's a little expensive, but we do play the 3 Pot of Extravagance. This extra deck doesn't really mean a lot, so being able to draw 2 off of banishing cards you don't really need is always beneficial. However, for any budget players out there, I do think that Allure of Darkness can work. You do run a lot of spells and traps, which is why I chose not to run it in this specific build, because if you don't draw into a dark monster to banish, you have to discard your whole hand. If you're able to set up and you see all the resources you need, Pot of Desires is also a really good +2. This deck doesn't special summon often unless it's Diablo, so Pot of Duality also works well. So I run this card, but if you have any other options or any other draw power choices, feel free to go with them too. But this card is just absolutely incredible for this deck. Play the 2 Monster Gate. Once again, just tributes a monster for cost, and then you excavate your deck until you find a monster that can be normal summon, and you special summon it to your field. It's just a play starter, and it clears cards off your opponent's field. We play the 1 Foolish Burial because you can send your Diablos, you can send your Black Wing Steam the Cloak, or if you have any cards that you want to reborn, this card will get them in the graveyard so you can bring them back. Now for the traps, fun parts. We play triple Trap Trick. This card is insane. It's basically like playing 6 copies of Lilith. You just banish any trap in your deck, and then you just set that card directly to your field, and you can activate it that turn. This card gets you anything and everything you will ever need. This card is broken. Typically, what you are setting off of it are your Artifact Sanctums. Everyone knows what this card does. However, if you don't, special summon 1 artifact monster from your deck. You can only activate 1 Sanctum per turn. You cannot conduct your battle phase this turn that you activate this card, and if this card is in its owner's possession, is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, target 1 card on the field and destroy it. This card is spot removal and also gets you access to your Scythe. Scythe locks your opponent out of their extra deck, basically stops them from extending, and you can just continue to off and kill them next turn. For the rest of the traps, I opted to only play 2 ofs, only because they're searchable off of Trap Trick, and I just think that you don't want to hard open too many traps and not have any extenders or any plays. So this card will get you anything back because it's basically reborn. So if you get Lilith back, you can activate Lilith's effect on your opponent's turn, tribute 1 of their cards. Compulse just pops a monster on the field, sends it back to the hand, and then Heavy Storm is just your back row removal for the deck. I believe it's a 41 card count, so trying to keep it as consistent as possible, I wanted to only run 2 ofs for each of these cards. For your extra deck, I decided to run 2 Link Spider because you do play Extravagance. Because we are still in Master Rule 4, you need arrows to access your extra deck. So this will give you something if you want to link one of your tokens off. It also helps you just climb up a little bit faster. You don't need it, but you also don't really need your extra deck. Play 2 Beat Cop of the Underworld. This card is also really insane in this deck because if it was link summoned using 2 dark monsters, which is everything on the field while your field spell is up, you contribute a card for cost and it can be your opponent if you have Lair of Darkness, and then you can also choose to place a beat counter on a card and then protect that card if and when it would be destroyed. You get to clear one of your opponent's cards while protecting your own, so this card is a really good buff to the deck. Same as last profile, 2 Decode Talker. It's a generic link 3, it can get pretty beefy, and when Lair is up, it still has that interaction where if it points to a card underneath it, you contribute that card for cost. Not off of Decode Talker, but off of Lair of Darkness, so it offers you that protection while still being able to clear one of your opponent's cards. And of course, we have to play the 3 Starving Venom Fusion Dragon and the 2 Predaplant Trifer Overtum, and then the 1 Predaplant Dragos Stapelio. These are all just super poly targets. When the new Master Rule revision comes out, I do think we're gonna revisit this extra deck and play some more of this and maybe add some more synchro support because these cards are just insane with this deck right now. I mean, this is just any 2 cards on the field, this is any 3 cards on the field, and this is a dark monster plus a fusion monster. So these cards are broken in this deck. And then to round out the extra deck, we play the 3 Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon. We don't play it in the main deck, but the side deck does have Waking the Dragon, so we gotta play this kind of card. A lot of people are going to realize that you're playing a back row reliant deck. Lair of Darkness is kind of known for being trap heavy. You side it in games 2 or 3. It's just a really hard card to get over. And of course, we have our Torment tokens, and then the 1 just generic token. I use this to differentiate between my Black Wings Team the Cloak token and my Lair of Darkness tokens. And of course, it would not be a Lair of Darkness deck without a custom Diablos Field Center. Shoutouts to Cardboard Gaming. This guy literally gives us everything and anything we could ever ask for when it comes to this kind of stuff. Custom field centers, custom tokens, custom proxies, anything you guys need, Cardboard Gaming can do it. So links will be in the description box down below. Just look at how beautiful that is. Go check it out and get some stuff for yourself. Onto the side deck. If you don't know if you're gonna go first or second, this card just helps you clear boards, and it also allows you to take control of your opponent's monsters. You contribute a monster for cost, and then you take control of one of your opponent's monsters. So when Lair is up, you contribute your opponent's monster and then take one of theirs. So if you don't have access to something like Super Poly, which helps you break boards, this will essentially do the same thing. You clear one card and then you take control of the other one. We do play the 1 Artifact Lancia. This is just for your Artifact Sanctum package. Locking your opponent out of the extra deck is a little bit more essential, which is why Scythe was main decked, but Lancia is definitely worth the slot in the side deck because a lot of cards do still banish. Follow up with the 3rd Heavy Storm Duster. It's literally just your 3rd copy in case you run into back row. It's removal if you need it. And then removal, Eradicator Epidemic Virus. This card is insane. You just tribute a dark monster with 2,500 or more attack and you declare spell or trap and your opponent loses all of them. And then they can't even draw into them for the next 3 turns. Like this card is a blowout against any back row reliant deck. And then same as the last video, 3 0-Day Blaster. It came out in the Rocket Revolt structure deck. This card reads that you contribute 1 dark link monster and then target cards on the field equal to that link rating and destroy them. This card is good right now because the links are still prevalent until April 1st. But once again, in the new Master Rule, maybe we'll revisit this side deck and this card will get replaced by something. But the reason this card is so good right now is because Lair of Darkness tributes for cost, and this also tributes a dark monster. So with Lair up, you contribute your opponent's dark link monster and then destroy cards on their field up to their own monster's link rating. So this card right now in this deck, in this format, is busted. And of course, Waking the Dragon. Enough said, right? Like, this card is just absolutely broken. I do think you're going to see this card come back and play a lot lately.
Hello from the future. It's me.
So while editing, I realized that my 15th side deck card was in another deck. So I am reshooting real quick just to show you the 15th card is Skill Drain in the side deck. The reason that the 15th card is Skill Drain is because cards like Lilith, Arima, and Jorgato all tribute for cost. So even though the effect cannot resolve, it still does activate and you can still clear your opponent's monsters. So you're still just playing Caveman Yu-Gi-Oh! Just beat sticking away with normal summons, and then you're just tributing your opponent's monsters. So it's a really fun, really cool interaction. So this is the 15th side deck card.
Oops, but we caught it. We didn't forget. Also, hi, I'm here. It's Logan. I just wanted to say hi because I'm not in the rest of the video and I want attention.
You're at work.
Love you.
As always, just to show some consistency, we're gonna do a couple shuffles, a couple test hands. There's not really a lot of combos that this deck can do because it's more interactive with your opponent than it is just by playing on its own. But we could still shuffle up, draw 5, and just show you what the deck can do and how it can attempt to set up. So we'll offer to our opponent to cut, and then let's say we're going first. We'll draw Arima, Heavy Storm, another Arima, Sanctum, and Compulsion. Pulse. So we will discard Arima, add the field spell. We can then activate the field spell, normal summon Arima, and then set 3. Do another one, cut, draw 5. Whoo, if that's not nasty. So we will discard Arima, add the field spell, activate it. So what I would do here is I would normal Lilith, activate Lilith. Lilith will tribute itself, reveal 3 Sanctum. Your opponent literally just directly sets it to your field. And then because Lilith was tributed, Diablos will summon himself. And then you can set your back row removal and you can set your reborn. So the interaction that I would do is on my opponent's standby phase or main phase, doesn't really matter. If you know what they're playing, feel free to shotgun it. Back to the front, special summon Lilith. And now you can activate Lilith's effect on your opponent's turn to tribute their dark monster because of Lair of Darkness, which allows you to tribute your opponent's monster. And you can get yet again another trap. You already have your Sanctum set and then you also have your Duster. So depending on any situation, you can just continue to play from here. Lilith was special summoned, so this card is 2,000. So right here, you already have 5,000 damage on board. Your top deck would be Arima. Once again, if they had another card, you can activate this and this on your opponent's turn. Draw another card. It's terraforming. It's not a big deal. The deck is a snowball deck, but once it gets going, it is very, very difficult to stop. So once again, absolutely love this deck. First deck that got me back into the game, so I don't think I'll ever give up on this deck. It's definitely not a tier 1 deck, but it's a really fun rogue option, and its interactions that it has with the meta at certain points and certain times is just really, really cool. Being able to tribute your opponent's monsters for cost is something that a lot of decks don't do. So it's just fun to interact that way for you, not for them. But that's it for the deck profile. Just want to say thanks to you guys for hanging out. If you guys want any cards for yourselves, check out our TCG player link in the description box down below. It supports our channel directly. Check us out on Instagram if you want. It's at CrushCardsYGO. Just want to say thanks for being here and watching the video, especially if you're a subscriber. If you're not, you're new to the channel, feel free, go down, hit subscribe, hit the like button. Let us know in the comment section what you think down below. And yeah, we hope you have a great day. Take care. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Bye.